What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome back to your Rams LAFB show. Thanks for joining us once again. This is my second episode I'm recording today. It's already up. This one's going to go up on Tuesday, but up yesterday, my interview with Cody Alexander, the great defensive-minded dude who I'm just in awe of constantly. Go check that out for sure, matchquarters.com for his Substack. But today, Monday night for us, Tuesday for you guys. Erin Coscarelli, you know her, you love her. Welcome back to the show. How you doing? Have you recovered from the Super Bowl week? Go check out her Instagram. All of the craziness. It was a wild time for her. I thought it was a wild time for me. You won up the game. How you doing?
I mean, let my voice be the indicator. Not only that, my microphone is on IR. It's just like a bleep show. I'm bleeping it out because I don't know if these things get bleeped out, but it's mayhem. It's so fun. But you come back and you're a shell of a human. I've been firing off memes of me coming out of a coffin, like the vampire. I sound like the Grim Reaper. So, but when you said, let's do a show on this, like lessons from what we're going to talk about, I'll let you weigh in. I was like, absolutely. Cause that game kind of was a bit of a snooze fest for me yesterday, Sunday. Mm-hmm. But I think the spin and how we can apply it to the Rams, I was like, oh yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So without further ado, today's episode is going to be about what the Rams can take away from this Super Bowl. And I think we should just jump right into it. Rams came super close. Everybody knows this already. Everybody's got their opinions about what the defense needs to do, the shortcomings on the offense. And I think, special teams. And let me tell you what, I think all three of the things that the Rams need to improve on heading into this season were on brilliant display on both sides of this team, on both sides of the Super Bowl about what they should be doing. So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I mean, there's a lot here for me. I think my takeaway would be, it's interesting. I'm curious to hear your Patriots one, but for me, it just feels like it's Seattle because the Rams really were the ones that took it all the way to the end with both of the most recent games against Seattle. So this game felt boring, as much as they deserved to be there, New England, it really was hats off to Seattle. And I'm sure we'll get into it specifically, but unbelievable performances by Seahawks defensive line. They sacked Drake May, 6 times?
Six times.
Yeah. Not a touchdown scored for a few quarters, right? Again, it's nice to have a clutch special teams. I kept hearing them talk about, especially, it was funny too, because I ate a rather large high carb meal at my girlfriend's house because I always watch it at my girlfriend Erica's house.
But you doing pasta sandwiches? What are you having?
Oh my God. Okay. We had wings, pizza, and a taco truck, like a taco cart, and dessert, and maybe a few margaritas. So by the second half, I might have been like on the couch for a large part of the game. And all the girls are always talking and I'm sitting on the couch with like the guys and the husbands. And my friend's like, you're such a tomboy. I'm like, I know. Anyway, so I fell asleep part of the game. But what was echoing all the time was how much special teams. And, we know how that went down for LA.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Let's start there. I mean, that wasn't my biggest takeaway from this, but how important was special teams on this game? 4 field goals in the first half, punts galore, collective 20 punt yards returned in this game. I had the most football sicko moment with my friends who were kind of like yours, not terribly interested in this game. They were excited to see Bad Bunny in the commercials more. But Jason Myers on the last punt of the game pins the Patriots within the 5-yard line with one of those funky punts that hits the ground and then 90-degree angle just out of bounds. And I was like, guys, did you just see that punt? And they were like, no, we did not. It's like, well, it was pretty good. Not only that, but one of the team captains for the Patriots, number 41, Schooler is his last name. Brendan Schooler, I believe Brendan Schooler was not aware of his game heading into this. One of the premier special teamers in the league this season. I never heard of him. We don't hear about these guys, but he came onto my radar as they were doing the coin flip because one of the gals in the crowd said, "Look at that guy's legs." And I said, "Oh, I'll pay attention to who that guy is. I've never heard of 41, Brendan Schooler." Excellent special team player. And so one of my takeaways for the Rams is go get yourself a Brendan Schooler. And I bring that up, and I was looking through the stats. Ben Skoranek, former Ram, current Pittsburgh Steeler, has become one of the best tacklers on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the best special teamers out there. So I'm saying, get yourself a Brendan Schooler.
Nice
well, that doesn't hurt. That's for sure. Any other special teams takeaways from this game the advice you can give?
Yeah. Well, I think not only that, the big one was showing how field position when return, let's say either fielding or kicking. And we saw, and you've mentioned it, you can share your thoughts on it, maybe a special teams return specialist. The almost two muff punts by Xavier Smith was frustrating because, obviously one did not just, he totally messed up, but the other, it's like really these field positions make such a difference when you're trying to move the ball down the offense and setting yourself up for success on both sides of the ball, whether you're kicking or you're fielding, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we saw the Seahawks go out and get Rashid Shaheed, and everybody thought, well, this is Kubiak's deep threat guy, speedster down the field, stretching everybody vertically. And he ended up being really MVP for that team by getting better field position, scoring a couple of touchdowns. If you recall, everybody should recall that from the Rams side of things. But that's just another one, and we've talked about it before, the lack of investment on that side of the field. And one of the things I've been pounding the table for is to just really invest. The coaching staff that Sean McVay has put together over the years has been phenomenal. Bringing in now Cliff Kingsbury, Nate Scheelhaas is going to be back. Shula's coming back as well. But is Bubba Vitroni, is he the answer there? We'll find out. I'm keeping an open mind. I'm not going to close anything off right there. The DVOA speaks for itself. You can go watch my video if you want to find out about that, but more investment, return specialists, kickoff guys, punters, and then go get a Ben Skoranek or Brendan Schooler. Any other takeaways from the special teams?
Yeah, no, I think that'll be interesting to see whether that's something that gets addressed with free agency coming up, and people are like, oh, what are you going to do now? Football season's over. I'm like, are you kidding me? We have free agency. Then we have the draft. No one's got a break. Then we have, maybe then
most
July,
of May.
July. Yeah. May. Yeah, exactly. 1 week. And then July we have camp. And then the season starts again in August. So
no rest for the wicked.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll be wanting time off. I'm excited. I think there's a plethora of storylines And I'm excited to take what we learned last year about the Rams, since they were so interesting and analytic and applied a lot of those tactics or concepts from even the year before into this year. And I feel like a lot of attention is going to be on LA this year because those expectations, I feel like you went division round 2 years ago or 1 year ago, NFC champion. Now I feel like no, they did wild card. They got busted. Did they get busted out of the wild card?
No,
No,
they
they
beat
went
the Vikings and then they went to the divisional round,
right.
against the Eagles. Yeah.
That's right. And so now it's like Super Bowl or bust, guys. Super Bowl or bust. And I'm ready for it.
Coming back. My next takeaway, my next lesson for the Rams team is, and don't forget this, because both teams did this, defense can win you a championship.
Oh.
I mean, that is lesson number one from this for me, is the investment in, a guy like Mike McDonald, coming in there a year or two, turning that defense around really quickly, turning some of the previous draft picks into really high level players for them, and then selectively picking pieces and adding them to the roster along the defensive line, especially propelled this team. And, I think both sides of the ball did really good job on offense, or on defense rather. New England included, holding that offense to just 4 field goals in the first half. That was, it got away from, Drake May. I had predicted that Drake May was going to he might have a really good game. He did not play well. Those lights were a little too bright for that young man. Bright future, but got away from him on this one. But I think, I just had Cody Alexander on, and he said that probably the biggest thing they need to do is add pass rush depth. So that's something I'm going to be looking for. Bolstering that defensive line is super important because, Jared Verse is going 110 miles an hour all game long. And as the season goes along, and as a game goes along, those guys get pretty tired out. So that's kind of my big takeaway, is build along the defensive line and believe in defense, baby. And just to go to your Erin Coscarelli of Believe in Rams for sure. To your point about the Super Bowl odds, FanDuel Sports has the Rams as the number 2 behind only the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl. So
this next year. Yeah. It's interesting too, because you got to give Sam Darnold his flowers. In the draft class of he didn't mess it up, which you're hoping just don't mess it up. The Rams put all this investment in the offense this year. They got Javonte. They drafted a running back. It just felt they really wanted to have a high-powered offense. Obviously, tight end with Terrence Ferguson. But if you just make sure your quarterback doesn't mess it up, and you have a defense that can bully around opposing offenses, it kind of feels like that was the script this season. And Darnold was in the same draft class, this was talked about yesterday, which was interesting, as Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and who's the other one? Oh, Baker Mayfield. And he's the first quarterback of all those guys on his 5th team, no less, to get the Lombardi Trophy. I mean, it goes to show that I think over flash, there is something about that, like you mentioned, Mike McDonald, a coaching staff that can figure out how to make pieces work. We talked about it, and I know Tyler and I talked about it. They didn't get a cornerback. They had a lot of issues sometimes in moments with the secondary, but I also think I think this is an emotional game. And what Sam Darnold was able to do is really so symbolic of a coaching staff that can put you in a position to succeed in. They didn't even have Charbonnet. And it'll be interesting. I love this episode because I think it's like take what is working and blueprint it. And guess what, guys? The Seahawks are in the Rams division. They're going to see that defense twice a year, maybe 3. So, I think it's important to take lessons from those that are doing it right and apply it. And no one in the beginning of the season would have said Sam Darnold is going to be your Super Bowl 60, Lombardi winning quarterback.
Well, you set me up for a couple of my next points, but I do want to finish by saying my lesson for the Rams is go get you a Christian Gonzalez, because that guy was all over the place, making plays, saving touchdowns. Heck of a game for that guy as well. But I wanted to touch on one of the things, NFC West. This is another one. This is putting the Rams on notice. Takeaway, the NFC West. I mean, this isn't a flash in the pan, guys. This Seattle team is built to have success in the long term, and they have sort of another Sean McVay. The tenacity that Mike Macdonald attacks his job with reminds me a lot. They have very different personalities, like the low key, high key. Mike Macdonald might be a little more fun at a party, maybe, but yeah. Wait, I think.
Wow, Mike Macdonald would be more fun.
Well, the guys that have that kind of frenetic, high energy thing, I'm not chilling with them. I respect them, but I can't hang with that kind of.
So you're saying you think McVay would be like? No, I can't have.
If I want to go hard out on the town, like McVay, yeah, but just like chill hang, like meeting a buddy at a bar. Talk out a few problems or whatever.
We should ask the people who they'd rather go to the bar and party with. Who in the NFC West? What NFC West coach would you rather, have a beer with?
Well, I love Mike LaFleur. Like, he and I bonded a little, like, for a short amount of time at training camp. Talked about Michigan. I'm from Minnesota. We had a moment. He's like a very normal human being. There's not a lot of normal human beings that lead NFL as a head coach. So Kyle Shanahan's going to be way too, like, I don't know. Like that, like he's talking about how the world's going to end, which there's room for that in my social circle as well. I've got that negative streak in there. So if I was going to rank it, I would say LaFleur, McDonald, McVay, and then Kyle Shanahan's like the guy. We're going to go to the concert. We're going to, grab a meal before or after.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the music and we'll leave it at that.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1. Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. benefits, all backed by 24/7 U.S.-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/secure. Protect yourself now at aura.com/secure.
Right. What concert would it be with Shanahan?
Wait,
Was it Shanahan you were saying you'd go to the concert with?
Yeah.
What would you guys see? What band?
Like maybe a Jack White show.
Okay.
He seems like he might like enjoy some rock and roll. I don't know.
Like Jack White solo, like not with the.
Well, they haven't toured since 2003 or something like
right.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It could be a reunion tour. You just don't know.
Okay. What about you? Rank yours real quick.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta go McVay.
Okay.
I gotta go LaFleur, McDonald, then Shanahan.
That's fair. Shanahan or Harbaugh? Who are you hanging out with?
Oh God, Shanahan all the way.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Jim, are you kidding me? Jim, I have a love-hate relationship with because he was so intense in San Francisco. I'm like, that scares me. He's amazing. No, I'm kidding. He's amazing, but he is a tough interview. If you are trying to get anything out of him,
you're not getting anything. Yeah.
You're not getting anything out of him. You got to respect it. He's a tough cookie.
Yeah. So NFC West is a force and it is a weird hang. We'll just put it at that. NFC West is a weird hang. It's all anyway. We'll move on before I say anything stupider than I already have. And I think we touched on this one already, but one of my other lessons the Rams should take away is running backs are back.
Oh yeah.
Kenneth Walker wins the MVP, first running back to win the MVP since Terrell Davis did in 1997. It's been nearly 30 years since a running back has done so. You can build a offense around one explosive, exciting running back. Kenneth Walker can't do it all. Do you know how many pass blocking snaps he took in this game? Goose egg, 0. But they passed to him. He ran the ball. He was the most exciting offensive player out there. The running backs are back. We've got a decent stable. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, Jarquez Hunter, who is still a mystery to us. We would love to see that. But what do you think? What do you think on that front?
It's funny because I'm trying to look up Cooper's stats because I don't know why it's giving me right now. This conversation is making me think of Cooper Kupp, which I know that's really not where we were going with this.
I don't care. You can go wherever.
I think the reason why I'm thinking of Cooper is because the running back has been a forgotten art in the Rams' sort of offensive identity. And getting back to balance and what works. And I don't think it's weird I'm comparing all of this to Cooper Kupp, who's a wide receiver. But I think letting go of Cooper Kupp, while I still think that was a good decision, doesn't necessarily mean the choices in wanting your team to feel like a balanced team, because McVay is so smart. Like McVay makes such smart high-level decisions, but he doesn't always necessarily make the right one, and he's the first to admit it. I think the Rams really do need to dedicate a bit more attention into finding why. And look, we had some guys that were out on the offensive line, but when they run the rock, they take the tempo. I'm really curious to see off season how that's going to look with their, Havenstein's not coming back. They obviously know, or well, he's not projected to, right? I mean, they're saying that they're suggesting. And by the way, when my voice comes back, we do need to have a show of who is coming back and who is not.
Oh, yes.
It's going to
Oh,
be,
yeah.
I'm excited about this show. I think this show is going to do rave reviews and it's maybe going to go viral because I think it's so interesting to project so many different ways we can talk about this team and this offense and the identity and what worked and what didn't work, which is why it's kind of interesting. We're talking about what we could learn from Seattle. But when they did not really find moments of balance with their run game, they were kind of playing, they were like playing from behind. And I think that was when they struggled the most. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think you're hitting it right on the head. I think, kind of what you're getting at, and one of the strengths of the team when it was really looking really good kind of in the middle of the season there, once the 13 personnel really got going, was they looked so multiple. They looked unstoppable. It could have been anybody, from Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, the obvious ones. But then there were games where, Colby Parkinson took over. And there were games where the running game was the driving force. And I'll always say that it is the backbone with those two particular backs. And then when it stopped working, when it stopped looking so good, I feel like McVay turtles. He gets a little shy. He gets a little bit more conservative. He wants to go back to the things that he knows work for him. And when you come against a defense like Seattle, which there's not many, there's only 3 or 4 of those, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, so on and so forth. But you got that team in the division. That said, that multiplicity falls apart, and then it becomes the Puka only show, and smart teams can mitigate that and get around it and change it. So I think that the expansion of the offense to include, more weapons, more versatility, more guys is, and the one place you got to look at is the running back room, because while we all love Blake and Kyron and A+ people, and good at what they do, they are lacking what Kenneth Walker brings. And I will say Kenneth Walker is a free agent and probably earned himself a pretty big contract out there in the free market. So I wonder, go hard after him. Breece Hall is also a free agent, was the guy I was kind of pushing them to trade for. He's got some explosibility. Nick Chubb, probably not after all the knee troubles. Rico Dowdle is a name that I might have my eye on, though. He's also a free agent. So there's guys out there that they can go after in free agency, but probably a draft pick is warranted there as well to, second round, third round. I don't know.
For running back.
What's that?
For running back?
Yeah.
But are you suggesting that you don't have faith in Jarquez? Like,
well, it's hard to say at this point. He might be the element. But I don't know. And that's one thing. When I approach this, I think of it kind of 3-pronged. Is this a draft? Is this a draft question? Is this a free agency question, or is this an in-house question? And at this moment, the running Jarquez is not. There's no proven commodity there. He's not. He's not landed any planes, so to speak. So I think what I saw, I was really impressed with. And his draft profile says that he's explosive. We just haven't seen it in the pros yet. So I have to keep all 3 options currently on the table until we learn more, which it's going to be, in September before we really see anything. And he wasn't on the field for a reason.
You also and Blake wasn't when he kind of was a rookie, but you also want to take that pressure off of Stafford.
Yeah.
Stafford did a lot this year, passing touchdown, leader and passing yards as well. Let's preserve him, because I'm assuming they're going to draft a quarterback. I don't know where you're leaning on that, but even if they draft a quarterback this year, they're still, I'm assuming, hoping Stafford would come back one more year, so they get him for 2 more years. They can draft a guy now, raise him right, but he's not going nowhere near that field. And then maybe Stafford, then the conversation they'd feel. I don't know. Look, I know Les and Sean, they're a lot, smarter than
Yeah.
us. They're thinking way down the road, but rebuilding and contending at the same time is no easy feat. Take the pressure off your quarterback. Give him, a great someone to dish the ball to where, you know, you'll take give him some opportunity to rest a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I'll say, can they expect that Stafford will play at an MVP level again this year? That's a big ask, to your point.
Yeah.
So I think, 10 draft picks, free agency is out there. A lot of cap space right now. Puka's going to chew up a big chunk of that. We'll see what happens with Stafford. We'll see what happens with Devontae, all of those questions. And I'm just going to drop this last one. It's a real quick one. Real quick last lesson I learned that I think the Rams can apply, that they're already doing. This one, I'll say. The vibes for both the Patriots and the Seahawks were just these light, beautiful, loving, just not really football kind of vibes, but just a true affection across the board, from players to player, from coaches to player, from players to coaches. Just the vibes from those two teams kind of match where the Rams have been going the last few years, of this camaraderie, this brotherhood. Then I just think, I think you're probably on the same page, is like, it's pretty amazing, where the football world has come from. And just bringing up Kyle Shanahan one more time, you don't really hear that kind of language coming out of San Francisco or Santa Clara for that matter. So just, I think they're doing that side of the thing really, really well, like alongside of these two Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, a lot of rooting for others was kind of the dialogue, especially when we saw the 13 personnel and the tight ends doing, contributing in their own way. I think there is a method to that. When you are like wanting to see your colleagues, and you foster an environment where it's so generous, everyone wants to stay later and show up earlier, So, like, we do that for each other. I think we do. We're always rooting for each other, and we're always high-fiving each other when we see each other. And I think there's something about that being a really good teammate that, like you said, you saw out of Seattle this year, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, any other takeaways from this big game that the Rams should try to apply? I have defense can win championships. Get on the special teams.
Yeah, I got a big one for you.
NFC West is a force.
Yeah.
Running backs are back. Good vibes. Yeah. What do you got?
You ready?
Yeah.
Who is going to top Bad Bunny next year? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? It's at SoFi. It's in LA. I mean, sorry. That was a 10 out of 10 performance. It was.
Yeah. And did they waste Kendrick Lamar on New Orleans? He's an LA guy, I saw some people
nonstop to reggaeton. Okay. Nonstop. I went on a walk. I started doing a little salsa. I asked my girlfriends, let's go salsa dancing on Wednesday. So, yeah.
A Wednesday dancing. I love that. Yeah, it's tough. I'm not the guy to ask about popular music. My response always is, let's have Bob Dylan out there. But he's 85 or something this year, so maybe not the draw or the excitement. He's not going to be dancing around too much. But drop your thoughts, everybody. Who's the next out there to headline the halftime show? Big show to follow. Big Bunny, Bad Bunny. hard to follow.
Elmo was so cute. He's like, I want his name to be Good Bunny. He's a good guy.
He seems like a real mensch for sure. Yeah. So I guess that's all we've got here from the Rams LAFB show. As always, thank you for tuning in. Go check out that show with Cody Alexander. It was just my heart in a podcast. Honestly, I always try to put my care into this, but it was so much fun. I don't get like I say I don't really get starstruck players, whatever, celebrities, whatever. Cody Alexander, I got nervous. I tensed up. But I think I did all right. Everybody go check it out. Let me know how I did. Yeah. I appreciate you, Erin. As always, go check out her socials at Erin Coscarelli. Go check out her show, Believe in Rams. I don't plug that nearly enough when she's on, but she's my better half at this point.
Hey, Ramley, thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching the Rams LAFB show. Quickly before you go, got to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. It's the #1 sports app right now, and you've got to download it because it's got so many great features that I want to tell you about. Aside from season-long fantasy, which is the best in the business, they've also got live score trackers, in-game updates, plus the live chat where you can actually communicate with other users right on the app. But perhaps the best feature, at least that I like, is the daily fantasy feature or the live pick'em. Just pick 2 to 8 players across any sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, obviously football and our Rams. You're going to choose a player, just choose more or less. Matthew Stafford, more or less passing yards. Kyron Williams, more or less rushing yards, more or less touchdowns. 2 to 8, you can win real money. So when you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code RAMSLAFB. And Sleeper's going to give you a match bonus up to $100. So you deposit $100, they're going to give you $100 free. You're now sitting at $200. You put in $10, they're going to match you $10. You're now sitting at $20. But on top of that, right now, Sleeper is offering all new user signups a $20 free entry, no deposit required. Go sign up. You're automatically invested $20 straight from Sleeper. But you can stack that offer with that match bonus offer to add more money. Just make sure to use that promo code RAMSLAFB. Go check out Sleeper. Download it today. Tell them the guys at the Rams LAFB sent you. And as always, Ramley, thank you so much for making us a part of your day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.